All right. Well, you guys just came off of
notes.
the Hall H stage presenting Bright in the biggest auditorium at Comic-Con in front of this crowd. What were you most excited for the people to see? You know, Bright is this new concept. I think Will, who is not here, described it as Training Day meets Lord of the Rings.
I have to say that's true, and also it just made me think when you were asking that question, one of the great privileges to come here with something that fits into the world of Comic-Con is awesome, while also being an original project. You know, we're not like launching off we're not a kind of a remake or a reboot. We're a mashup, which is two elements that are familiar, but in the mashup, that fusion creates something original, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about this movie.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's the opportunity to actually show some cut footage, because we've only unveiled 30 seconds of the movie, and now we have a 2-minute trailer which dropped, and we have, you know, this scene where we get to see Noomi basically destroy the world. She has a thing against convenience marks.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing to see it today. First time I saw that scene, actually, and that was the very first thing we shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like thrown into this situation when I'm like killing people, shooting, cutting, but it was amazing. We did a lot of preparation, and I did, you know, fight training, shooting all kind of guns, big guns, small guns, and I did everything in, like, you know, combat kind of, you know, boots and, like, you know, looking like a military girl. And then on the day, I was in high heels and a super tight suit and contact lenses and elf ears and teeth, and I was like, okay, this is who she is. And then I kind of grew into it. It was and I really loved playing this woman, this elf.
Gun-toting elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so exciting to see that scene, because I hadn't seen any of the movie yet, and so seeing it on such a huge screen and feeling the sound vibrating in the floorboards.
Oh my God, yeah, it was like a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I've got chills.
Okay, you play elves. You play an orc.
Yeah.
What do you think I play?
Oh my gosh. What else
He's
exists
like
in
he's
this
an
world?
elf that belongs on the front cover of GQ. EQ.
What other creatures
Elf cute,
exist in this world?
Well, there's centaurs, there's dwarves, there's, you know, a few yet to be unveiled in the future.
Fairies.
Fairies.
First.
Oh,
Lizards.
yes.
And elves are on
Lizard
top of the
dancers.
food chain.
Yeah.
Like, we are the highest peak. We're like the crown.
I think the lady elf. is
That's
on
what
top
she
of it.
thinks she
Yeah,
is.
and orcs are kind of the opposite end of the
There are other
spectrum,
elves
but,
as well.
Yeah.
you know, within this film, maybe orcs creep their way up on the level of respect in society, thanks to my orc.
Well, I wanted to ask, like, the concept of marrying something so fantastical, like a world that's fantastical, with, like, very relevant social issues today is very new. But why is that important for you to explore and to, like, put out there?
It's almost getting harder to talk about a lot of the issues we're having right now, because people are becoming so polarized. But I think in the context of a parable, of a fable, that it allows you to explore things, you know, and the movie has a light hand with it. I think if you know what you're looking at, you know, you feel it. It's pretty clear. My hope is that, you know, people with closed hearts may learn something new, may open their eyes a little bit without feeling preached to.
Would you say this is a woke, rated R action, supernatural action movie?
Yeah, it's woke as
I really hope we can keep that. A lot of language up there on Hall H, the Hall H stage. That was fun.
That was Lucy. She
That's
can't.
always-
Yeah,
It's
she's like a
always
sailor.
Lucy.
Didn't you read the rules? No swearing.
Just couldn't help myself.
So there is one thing, like in the trailer, which we just saw, it starts with Will Smith, who is not here, so we can all talk about him and how great he is, as you did on the panel. But there's this line, something like, it's basically all fairy lives matter.
Fairy lives don't matter today.
Fairy lives don't matter. So like putting something like that out there, so obviously like calling back to these issues like Black Lives Matter that we deal with right now. Like, how careful do you feel you have to be in putting that out there, even in a fantastical sort of world?
I think it's a matter of, you look at the whole movie and you look at the meaning of the whole movie. And again, it's like I said that, for me, it's an opportunity to maybe stir some awakening in people, to maybe help people who are a little bit closed-minded kind of open up a little bit, And I grew up in a diverse neighborhood. I grew up in South LA. I've seen, I saw the crack epidemic. I saw, how those communities were policed back in the day. I mean, I saw a lot of this stuff firsthand, experienced it, lived it. I've seen the violence and I've seen what it does to people. And so as a filmmaker, it's just, how can I do anything to stop it? Can I do anything to help?
It feels like you don't judge people or your characters. It feels like it's, when we were talking about my Layla, she's the villain, but she has a bleeding heart. She's in pain at the same time. So all the characters has a lot of layers. I don't think this is working. Are we really using it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's going in.
Yeah, I also feel that way.
Yeah.
I think it's important for movies, especially when you have the opportunity to have such a broad window as we have, through Netflix and the size of the project and also the proportions. It's a massive movie, and to have the opportunity to entertain and also to stir up the conversation. It's a wonderful opportunity, I mean, we don't get those chances very often. And at the same time, we're entertaining, so it's just like life.
And we had fun, and we got bruised.
Yeah.
And my character in the film is in the process of waking up to a lot of the things that get ignored, and she's kind of been in this cult mentality that sort of reinforces that hierarchy, and she's suddenly like, her eyes are opening, and it was really great to play that character because it made me open up my eyes more to the world and the state that things are in, and have to become more present to all of the things that you would prefer to ignore, but you just have to see it.
I mean, in this movie, everybody's held accountable for who they are and what they believe. And, each character, like Noomi was saying, even the bad guy, has a soul, is alive, is a being, and has, an emotional life and an emotional history. And it's how everybody bounces off each other,
And your hero even overcomes his own race. Orc. He's very judgy of his orc partner.
Absolutely. I mean, in this world, this guy's basically, the Jackie Robinson of law enforcement. He's the first orc, officer. And sometimes, as we've seen throughout history, it takes courage to go against the social norms, especially when it's so institutionalized, and to open up and accept people and to fight that. I mean, it's an ongoing process. I mean, we're still living it in this country. There's been so many advances, but we're still living it. And he's playing a guy that's just a good dude with a good soul. And it's like, I just want to help people. I just want to have a great life. Why can't I do that? Because of who you think I am? Because of what I look like? I mean, come on.
So do you guys think that this movie, Bright, this will unexpectedly have an impact on America?
Yeah.
We hope so, yeah.
I think it can, yeah.
I think people will enjoy watching it and get a really great ride out of it. And along the way, as I always hope, that anything you put your time and effort and energy into, that it resonates in a way beyond just entertainment. It feels like if you could do two things, entertain plus something else, it's pretty awesome.
With orcs and fairies and elves.
Yeah.
The issue of identity, I think it's very important, and it's present in the film. I mean, what does define your identity? Where you come from, the community you come from, or the choices that you make in life? I mean, are you able to create your own identity, or do you have to define it by the social expectations? So I think that ultimately it's also a story about freedom of choice. That you choose also your destiny. You have a choice, and you also choose how to shape up your identity. So. Yeah, it
helps to have a really cool accent too.
You also have an accent.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but his one's much cooler.
No, it's just it's Connecticut accent. It's just it's how when I grew up in Vermont.
Like throw English words out of our mouths and see what happens. Like that's like poetry.
Well, thank you guys all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.